Welcome to the Will Studios. I'm Will. Once again, I'm going to draw something, and you're going to learn something. Let's see here. You know what? I'm going to fix that Superman. That's what I'll be doing. Because, where was it? Whatever. I drew Superman the other day, and he was doing his classic Superman pose, kind of the classic, like, Fleischer Superman pose, where he's looking up off into that distance. Because he's watching out for us. The Fleischer Superman was really like... They didn't care to give him too much of a personality. It was kind of like he always knew he was the strongest person in the room. And he was almost like playing with people. So, one of the things that I hated about it was just how thick he looked. He looked kind of dumb, you know? And when I came down and did his torso, it was like a straight up and down thing. And we like a slightly trimmer Superman. But that Superman back in the day, he was based on, like, you know, dudes' bodies in the 50s. Everybody was thick back then. Everybody was bloated in alcohol due to the alcohol. Just gonna kind of frame out the abs a little bit here. You know what? I'm gonna turn off this stuff I'm listening to, because that way I'll actually talk about what I'm doing. One thing I've learned about anatomy is that everybody's a little bit different. So don't, like, stress out too much. Am I just making his arm too big here? Is that what's going on? I already think this is going to look better than the other one. Gotta make his head smaller. I'm gonna get better at making the correct size heads. Gotta try to make it somewhat symmetrical between the hands, you know? Just to try and help myself out, I'll draw a full body. Something I went over in a episode I deleted from last night is like habits that I've just kept with me since I have been a doodler in high school. And the Superman pose is one that like I would always draw. So like I had it down to like muscle memory at one point. But like that muscle memory wasn't actually like good. It was just like that, and I would like really bubble out the abs. This was my high school understanding of anatomy, which is not super inaccurate, but you know. Just make up for your lack of knowledge with bigger, bulkier muscles. Let's make his torso a little shorter so that makes sense. Legs, no, they were right size already. Yeah, that looks good. He's kind of got chicken legs here, but whatever, man. He flies. I mean, I guess he runs too, but whatever. Just his legs a little bit too long. There. That'll be our Superman figure. Make sure we give him a package. And I'm just gonna go in with ink and darken a bunch of stuff in. Just to give myself like a really good underdrawing to draw from. give me a sense of the composition. And then, okay, what is the cape going to be doing? Let's just make it flying back here. Like, I guess I don't even need to see the other side of it if that's the case. I just gotta put in a shadow like here. And that'll be believable. Maybe. So, you can't even see it on the computer, so let's bring it up to about here. But I wanted it just like barely ghosted. Let's do this, because I want to show that I'm maintaining like that orientation. I liked when Frank Quietly did Superman for All Seasons. He like did a whole Superman breakdown. Like, for how do you take somebody that is built like he should be playing professional football and make him like the nerd of The Office? And so he was like hunched over as Clark Kent. He just like changed his posture and everything, but he also established his Superman as having like rounder sort of features, more boyish facial features, which I kind of liked. I wish I was Frank Quietly. No, I don't. Nowadays, I feel like, especially if Captain Marvel's in the room, Captain Marvel's going to be the one that has like that round chin. you know, and then Superman's going to have more of a step into the Batman sort of realm, because Batman's going to have like a really square jaw when he comes around. I feel like doing these the way I'm doing them, just live drawing, is really helping me out, like getting faster, and not stressing out about little details. Because one of the things that's kind of got me hung up just as an artist is just this idea that everything has got to look great while I'm drawing it. Like, while I'm drawing it, it needs to look really cool. I'm like, let go of that a little bit. Let go of that a little bit. Try to finish it. Try to make something in 30 minutes or an hour. And then pick out a couple other like independent creators who maybe they're doing an objectively worse job, and that'll boost my spirits. Oh, it does. I read a comic book called Six Gun Gorilla, and just because the first issue's free online, and I wonder if other artists are afraid to like go in and update the artwork or change anything. And there's really only one scene in that comic book where specifically they're playing a poker match, and the dude lays down his hand. He says full house, and then the other guy has 4 of a kind queens, right? Well, it's just the stupidest mistake. A, they're playing poker with 4 cards each, and the dude who supposedly has a full house and is losing in this scenario, he has 4 aces that he sets down on the table. And then I'm stuck as a reader wondering, how do you not catch that? How did that not get fixed before I read it? So I'm going to have to make sure that when I release, and this was my point really, because I'm not afraid to do that. I'm releasing the first 27 pages as a rough draft on X. Hopefully one of my 8 active followers will take a look at it, and if they find any mistakes, they'll tell me. Or when I spam it all over the place, trying to get eyes on it. His eye too big there. Speaking of eyes on it. He also needs to be smiling, right? Because it's Superman and he's being a hopeful dude right now. Looks way better. Way more personality. Hold on a second. Just give him a little more here, there. You see how, like, just that? Because that nose looks terrible. It looks like he's, like, bulbous. But it literally only takes that little mark to suddenly it's an upturn, and you get that little shadow. It's like you get the impression of a second nostril. I'll come back to the face in a minute. Gotta redo those eyebrows. Even though I shouldn't be worried about the eyebrows right now. I should be moving on to the rest of the body. I'm already at 21 minutes. I think I finished the other one in 21 minutes. It's probably why it looked so rough and terrible. I was trying to talk about the new David Cornsweet Superman movie that's coming out. Which is looking a little better to me every time I look at it. I know Guy Gardner's costume looks stupid. It's easy to hate on things. I want to say it looked like Nathan Fillion playing Guy Gardner, which he's a bit old, but great actor. I don't think I've ever disliked seeing Nathan Fillion in anything. But I'm hoping they make Guy Gardner just a freaking huge asshole. He kind of has to be. Maybe he'll be the foil to the more hopeful Superman. I'm wondering how they're going to portray the core, because I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. I know the current comic book is supposed to be pretty good. I might just go get a copy today. I bought a handful of quote-unquote current comic books because I hadn't read comic, and I told the guys at the shop, I haven't read comic books in 10 years. I've been reading manga and stuff, and it's really just my own desire to make a comic book that's getting me to read these indies. I'm like, word is everything's gay. Word is that if I pick up a DC or Marvel comic book, I need to be ready for some LGBT romance, which I'd rather have a fantasy, adventure sort of deal. Being a straight man. And so I ended up with some Transformers comics. They were trying to sell me this there was a story where I guess they went into Arkham Asylum and started interviewing Batman's villains, and that's apparently really well written and stuff, but I specifically told them I didn't want any self-referential like when a universe, when these IPs, they exist for so long, they start feeding off one another. It's like AI art, almost. You look at AI art, and you're like, okay, this was mashed up with all the deviant artists that they could find, mixed with Google image searching. And it's getting better, but we'll see what it looks like in 5 years. Maybe it'll be useful to me. Maybe I'll be able to just sit down and write. Who knows? I don't see it. I think there's something special about human artwork, but hey. Most people are probably not going to see it that way. Most people are just going to be like, oh, wow. Freaking X-Men 97, completely computer generated. Would have looked way better if it was done with hand-drawn artwork, but that's expensive, and we're trying to be more efficient, and AI art is going to be more efficient eventually. We'll see. Not yet. It's not good enough yet, in my opinion. They just got done pulling a bunch of Superman covers because they realized this dude was making it with AI art, and they realized it because like one of the Superman had like two bottoms of his S symbol when he's coming at the camera. But like I said, like the DC universe, the Marvel universe have been around so long that any of their new ideas are just derivative of old ideas. Everything's got to be like an homage. Everybody, I mean, I love Jack Kirby, but if he were alive today, I hope that his reaction would be like, hey man, stop worshiping me. But then I've never like seen any Jack Kirby interviews. Maybe he would have liked it. Maybe he would have been like, oh, you're still using my characters. What have you guys made? Oh, female versions of my characters. Alright. Oh, kid versions of my characters. Alright. Friggin' the last time... No, I guess it was 2 times ago. When I went and visited my hometown again. Because I moved... I'm in Ohio now. But I went and visited Virginia. And I end up hanging out with this dude. From a comic book shop. And... I start saying that about how it's like manga has all the new ideas, all the innovative ideas, and DC and Marvel and stuff are just trying to rehash the same stuff. And he's like, well, that's why they're doing the new Avengers or whatever. And they're trying to focus on the superheroes' kids. And, you know, it bothered me that it did not dawn on him that if you create a new superhero and it's literally the last one's child with the same powers and it's existing in the same universe and it's fighting the same villains, you haven't created anything. Okay? And you should be ashamed. My opinion. We got freaking... The Japanese are killing us right now. Because they got new IPs every 5 or so years. And here I go. I'm making them thick again. This is what I was doing before. Where I'm not foreshortening the abs, right? I had that whole freaking episode on foreshortening when it's coming straight at you. But then now we're tilting it to the side. Abs should be coming in way more on that side. There, that looks a bit better. A little bit better. Let me like turn my tablet so I'm looking at it more dead on. I'm going to be diversifying the content of the channel here pretty soon. Just in an effort to get more eyes on me. I know people are recommending I start doing reels, I start doing this or that. for like shorter form content, tighter content. And they're right. They're not wrong. But I'm also thinking about, okay, let's do some episodes where I'm not just sitting and drawing. I can have some tabs open, talk about whatever I want, the news and stuff, because it's like, okay, a lot of these, there's a lot of like, in the independent space, there's YouTubers who have like completely different content, like their politics or whatever. And then they're launching their comic books, and they'll have like 1 million followers, 2 million followers, because they're out there beating that culture war drum. And I didn't want to do that at first. I was like, but we'll see. Am I going to give Superman a huge package? Let's adjust that onto drawing a little bit. Would you even see that inside muscle from this angle? It's going to have a little bit of a shadow there. Go back and watch my basic leg tutorial if you're confused about any of this. What I don't want to do is get caught up trying to make my artwork look like hyper polished, because I don't think it ever will be. And that's hours of work. Like, I don't think any of the artists that I see producing these beautiful, like, super detailed pictures, and they'll literally straight up say it took 18 hours, like, total to accomplish it. It's like, dude, I have a full-time job and 2 kids. I'm going to do my best to develop a very quick style that gets the job done, but that I'm comfortable with. Because, like, I was not comfortable with what I was doing last year, which is why I still don't have a comic book out. This angle of the foot is always going to be a challenge. Just do your best. 36 minutes, not too bad. That looks terrible. That's good enough. Just give him the impression of those knuckles here and the thumb bone coming out. And that's good enough. Not really, but for now. For the purposes of this video, in the interest of posting another video, which I'm starting to wonder, does it matter how many videos I make if 0 people are watching them? In theory, eventually, you know, the subscribers will go up just as long as I'm making content, but I'm gonna be the one testing to see how true that is. Can't stop, won't stop, so I'm gonna figure it out sooner or later. Hopefully sooner. I also got to increase the blacks, which people have been telling me for years. Some scribble shadows, just to show that it's shiny down here and a darker color. We'll get that cape going. We have a slightly better Superman than the one we drew the other day. Let's give him a background. Should I have drawn an eagle? Should we be holding an eagle? Let's see. How easily could I add an eagle in here if I put his hand up? And that would look way cooler too, wouldn't it? Way more pro-Western propaganda. Would the eagle be looking at him or looking out? Whatever. I'll do an eagle some other time. I'll have a whole separate tutorial on eagles. I love drawing animals. Question now is, where do I want more solid lines before I come in here and start painting? All right, let's paint him a little bit. Or actually, give him a little bit of a shadow or a shine to the S. Does that work or not? Nah, not really. But it shouldn't be a solid black S either. I just color my lines black. Whatever. Pencil out of battery? No. There we go. It's you, poor man. I need to look at, because I did that Blood and the Sword review, because I wanted to review independent comic books, try and get more eyes on them, and I thought it would be useful. I thought people would appreciate it. I only did one. Nobody saw it. 2 people saw it. I'm wondering if the dude who wrote the comic book saw it, but he definitely didn't repost it, because it was not a glowing review. But I'm not going to give people glowing reviews unless I mean it. I need people to trust me. I need people to be like, this guy knows a good comic book. If he recommends something, you know, he'll tell me. Not all of them are going to be flawless. Like, Six Gun Gorilla is such a ridiculous concept, and I only read the first issue, and the only thing that impressed me about, the thing that did impress me about it is that I wasn't, like, bored, and it was so outlandish, I was just, like, waiting for, how's this next person gonna react to this gorilla who has the special 6-shooters? Or how does this become a story? Because one of the first things I saw about it, they're releasing issues 9 and 10. And so if every issue is 30 pages, then that's 300 pages of story about a gorilla surviving in the Old West with 2 guns. I mean, what story do you put into that? It's got to be all the side characters doing stuff, and then it's going to be one of these, this town has problems, and the only one that can fix it is this gorilla who doesn't talk and just shoots the bad, but he knows, he's intuitive. Because it kind of showed him, and that's one of those things it does right, is that you can tell that the gorilla has a strong sense of justice, even though he just signs to the one female character, the way he interacts with people, like, you can tell that he's not just a monkey. He's not just an idiot. But we'll see. We'll see if I actually pick it up. I'm very choosy. Like, if the dude, what's his face? His name was Chris, I want to say. I should look that up. Anyway. Don't take it personally if I'm not giving you money to read Six Gun Gorilla. But I'd say just putting out, because I'm going to put out my first issue for free as well. Because having read the first issue, I actually am, like, more likely. I feel more likely to spend money on it. I don't have any money, but I feel like I'm more likely to spend the money when I do have it on. And you know what? I will. On this podcast, I'll say it, and anything I say on this podcast, I'm going to be a man of my word, okay? I fall through a lot in life, but hey, Leonardo da Vinci didn't do a lot of the commissions that he accepted either. That's only happened once, and that was like 2 years ago, and this person like really wanted me to draw a tattoo for him. It was someone I worked with, and I was like really obsessed with drawing chicks at the time. I was gonna do like a more risque project with a script I was working on, because I'm like, this is gonna make money. And it was 2 parts. It was 2 tattoos, and the one she liked, and she got it tattooed. But the other one she didn't like, and I never actually finished the new image that I was going to make because we had some creative differences. And yeah, I'm positive she found somebody to do it the way she wanted it, and hopefully she's just accepted, hey, he was still finding himself. He was still figuring out what his style was. He ran into certain issues, and sometimes life gets in the way. I moved away, so yeah. She can't forget about it because she tattooed half the commission on her body. I'm not going to forget about it because I regret it. Shape a little bit of this S in. Just some loose edges like that, or should they've gone the other direction? Is that better? They looked better the other way. Let's make our Superman a white man. Too yellow. pink. That'll have to do. Part of trying to be a professional artist, I think, is when you get that little feeling like, man, am I just not good enough? You ignore it. You just ignore it and keep drawing. Because who cares? Someone might like it. And by the time you're done, maybe you like it. Give him some blue eyes. Literally just using two. Superman's hair was always like, had like blue shines in it. Shines? He had blue shines in it. Like back in the day. Remember that? Because they only had like 5 colors to work with. And I think they just decided that it looked better that way. Does it? This is my blue-haired Superman. Increase the black so it doesn't look like he has purely blue hair. But I am going to keep it. I'm going to keep a little bit of blue tint in the hair there. For no particular reason. I don't even know if it looks good yet. I don't know. Gotta find my 3-finger gloves, man. Jeez. Alright, 56 minutes on this. Alright, 3 minutes. Can we make it? I just do that? Hold on a second. If I... Oop. Delete this layer and then just go like that. Oh, that kind of works. Love learning stuff, or like realizing I could have done stuff all along. Ah. Try to make that up this side of the cave a little darker, you know. 1 minute. Am I really gonna finish this up in 1 minute? No. Ah. Ah, 1 hour. You've missed it. Couldn't finish even a sloppy finish. I freaking couldn't make it over the finish line here. You know what, though? He does look better than the other Superman. So I'm going to call this a success. Yep. Come in here a little bit. Like that. Quick little 1 hour Superman. Well, thanks for tuning in to the Will Studios. We'll talk again next time.